I had heard of Buckminster Fuller and always admired his work. He was really a Renaissance man. He knew about everything. He was an architect, a mathematician, a poet, an inventor, an engineer. So it was a rare opportunity to meet him and work with him. And I had this opportunity in 1969, and I went to his project called The World Game, where he had 26 young people work with him on making the planet, Spaceship Earth he called it, work for every human being. He called it the World Game because it included the whole world, and it was the opposite of a war game where one side loses and one side wins. In the World Game, every man is a winner, every side wins, because we learned what would be the optimum kind of world that the people needed to live on, where they would have enough food and shelter and not have to be worried about not having enough to go around, because there was enough to go around. We proved that, of resources, if the world would be operated with very much more efficiency. Get rid of waste, do more with less, and give every person the opportunity to be a success on the planet. So it changed my view of the whole Earth. I saw the Earth as a place where human beings were our most precious resource, and that we were all capable of learning how to do a better job than what we had been doing. So it changed my outlook of the world, it changed my work. I became very, very committed to working to make the Earth a better place for everyone to prosper on. There's no one who has all of the combined knowledge that I know of, because Fuller was one man, like a Renaissance man, who knew so much about so many different things. But there are people I admire very much who are doing terrific things for the Earth, like Bill and Melinda Gates, who are using their money to stamp out poverty, provide better sanitation and clean water, and getting rid of disease. So, they're helping poor countries, and I think they're very admirable for what they're doing. And I'm sure there are people in science, physics, on the Earth, who are doing spectacular things, but I don't see anyone like a Renaissance man at this point. So Fuller to me was very unique, because he was packaged all in one. I think from childhood I was always interested in nature. I used to walk on the beach, pick up shells and beautiful pieces of wood and make things from them. And I drew a lot, and I focused on trees and plants. They were always in my drawings. And I was kind of a solitary child, because I was so much in love with nature. I would find all my companionship just living with the plants and the trees I love so much. So I think that kind of spirit I had was always focused on nature, and all of my work in my art was always focused on nature. So I think that was just part of me from as long as I can remember. When I worked with Buckminster Fuller in 1969, environmental concerns were brought very, very, very visibly home to me, because we saw from our studies and our research that fossil fuels were going to become an enormous problem. We were going to suffer great pollution. We were going to have climate change. The Earth was going to warm. All these things were predicted. So I've spent all the years since I worked with him trying to get the message across that we have to love nature, do what we can to protect nature. And now I think people can really see, with this time we're living through now, with this plague going around, that without using so much fossil fuels, the skies have cleared up. The water is clearer. So it's very, very, very out there, visible for everyone to see how we have to cut down the use of these dangerous elements that are going to poison the earth. And we can't afford to do that any longer. I started to use gunpowder after I saw a show at the Guggenheim Museum of this Chinese dude who uses gunpowder, and I thought, God, that's a beautiful effect the gunpowder leaves after it's burned, leaves on the canvas or on the wall. And so I decided I got to go home and try this. And one of my very best friends and assistant is a guy who loves guns, knows about guns and gunpowder. So we got some gunpowder and some fuses, and I started to experiment in the studio, and it caught on immediately. I was just fascinated by the, first of all, it's exciting to watch it take shape, because the gunpowder has spread on the canvas, flares up all at once in this great big flame, and the fuses, they burn differently. They burn little piece by little piece and leave this thorny-like stem-like features. So I was hooked, and then I started to also burn with a little torch the edges of the collage papers I was using. So everything in the work was always related to fire of one kind or another, and I found it so exciting, and also my message became more and more the contrast between danger and safety, between beauty, the underside of beauty that could be danger. And that was one of the messages in my work, because in life you never know what's on the other side. You don't take anything for granted. And with the earth the way it is now, there is a danger lurking out there of what we're doing to the environment. So all of these features of burning have so much meaning for me, and it's exciting to do as well, and dangerous and fun. Making my art immersive, well, I will say my art has always been appealing. There's something about my art that attracts people in all the different stages I've gone through. It's never it never puts off anybody. It welcomes people to enjoy it and to feel good when they see it. But lately, well, the last few years, with the things that are happening in the environment, has caused me to want to attract people to really be part of it and touch it and be immersed in it, because my message to them is to be part of nature, love it, enjoy it, and then help make things right. So the mangrove sculptures I've done, people can walk through them and touch it and feel as though they're in a mangrove forest. All of the burning attracts people because they feel the energy, I think, of the fuses and the charred pieces that are on the canvas, and the gunpowder remains that makes them feel tactile. They want to touch it. And so my concern is for people to be so moved by the work that they will love the environment more and more and try to help it. So it's become much more immersive, and the scale's increased, where I do very large things now. No more easel painting. Mostly there's works on the wall, freestanding sculptures, hanging resin pieces that resemble corals. So it's a whole different time for